Superheroes in the 80s. Things are going to get radical on today's episode of The Entertainment Jungle. All right, on the show today we have Quackrin.
Hi.
And Ryan the Lion.
How's it going?
And I am Cornelius, and we are going to talk about the new sequel movie, Wonder Woman 1984. It's rated PG-13, came out this year. We've been talking about it for a while. It was in theaters and on HBO Max. And this is directed by Patty Jenkins, who directed the first one. It is written by Patty Jenkins and Geoff Johns and stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, and Pedro Pascal. And in this movie, we see Diana Prince living quietly among the mortals in sleek 1980s. But soon Diana will have to muster up all her strength, wisdom, and courage as she finds herself squaring off against the evil Maxwell Lord and the Cheetah, a villainess who possesses superhuman strength and agility. Right off the bat, what are some overall thoughts on this movie? Start with Ryan the Lion. What'd you think?
Well, I love Gal Gadot. I really liked the first Wonder Woman movie, and I was really excited to see this one, and overall I ended up being pretty disappointed by it.
Yeah.
I wanted to like it, I really did, but it just, it was lacking for me.
Quackrin, are you on the same page?
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't see the first Wonder Woman, but like Ryan the Lion said, Gal Gadot is like, you know, so beautiful that like I could watch her, but I mean, it was not an entertaining movie in the slightest, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, she saved the movie. This movie was 2.5 hours long, and once again, I'm sure we all could just stare at her for as long as they make this movie. But it'll lead into my overall thoughts, which I was also very excited about it for many reasons, and it was a complete letdown. And in my opinion, this movie had way too much exposition. It took them over an hour to explain what was happening, and then the movie started.
Right.
So that's kind of where my first question is, what was all this explanation for?
There was a lot of exposition, and I felt like it still wasn't a very clear story. Like, it seemed like they were kind of all over the place, and I didn't know why a lot of things had to happen. And for a movie that takes place in the 80s, which is a pretty fun decade, other than a few outfits, they did not really capitalize on that at all even. Which even that, I was like, well, if nothing else, you know, there's going to be some fun 80s stuff. There wasn't. There was none.
I know, and the opening scene took place in a mall. I mean, that's prime real estate for 80s nostalgia.
Very easily, like, you could have a lot of fun with that. And I feel like they didn't, which was a bummer. Pedro Pascal did a nice job, but his character was absurd and over the top, and just DC has so many great villains, yet somehow they keep picking the weirdest and least interesting villains to go with, and I just don't understand it.
Quackrin, I want to hear what you were going to say.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I was kind of entertained for a while, but then I felt like I knew everything I needed to know, and there was still an hour left. And then that last hour was just like, why is this even here? I don't think it needed to be there. Like, I don't know. But then when we got to the very end, we were still like, wait, why did all this happen?
Yeah.
Although you don't like action movies, I was in the same boat, but I'm like, okay, the last hour is just going to be action. I'm ready for it. And it wasn't.
No.
No.
Yeah.
So,
No,
like, where was the superhero action?
Yeah.
It really couldn't be, because we didn't have a very physically impressive main villain. We did have a side villain who had physical prowess.
But did nothing.
Like, she wasn't going to be able to fight the big bad because she would have destroyed him immediately. And it just, I don't know.
So I have two things. One, were you okay? Like, I was okay with the monkey paw, you know, be careful what you wish for. But once again, it took him like an hour for me to get to that point, and I'm like, all right, you could have told me that a lot sooner.
Yeah, like, I mean, obviously the concept isn't new, but it was also weird, like, the consequence was basically, so, after Pedro Pascal decides to become the rock that grants wishes, then the consequence just became whatever he decided on a whim. Like, it was so random. Like, he was like, okay, you want that? Well, now you're gonna have to give me your Lexus or something. It's like, all right, that's weird and random. That's fine.
That was also not explained either. Like, he granted wishes, but then he took something, but it was supposed to be what they cared about, not like what he told them he wanted. It was, That it was just weird.
But yeah, I mean, it became completely self-serving. It just became whatever he decided he wanted from them.
Yeah, this did what all these superhero sequels do that I don't like, whereas they think they have to cram so much. Why did they give us 2 villains when they could easily give us 1? It's very rare, I think, maybe Batman Returns, where they had multiple villains that made sense.
Yeah.
Because Tigress is supposed to be one of her top 5 most vicious villains, you know, her formidable adversary, and she was in like 1 scene. Why do they always throw in so much into the sequel? Do we need it? Why can't we just have the same thing but better?
On one level, I do understand having Pedro Pascal's villain wasn't a physically imposing one. So, okay, so you have a second one that she can actually do battle with. That makes sense. But like you said, the battle wasn't a great payoff.
Exactly.
Another, I guess, issue that she had to face was, so her, like everyone apparently in the world made a wish at some point, but her wish made early on is to bring back her lover, Steve Trevor. She didn't even intentionally do it, but she accidentally brings him back. Then she had to struggle with losing him again.
I know.
Her monkey paw sacrifice was her powers. So for some of the movie, she's dealing with, I'm losing my powers. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like, you do know what you're going to do. You have to just be like, and apparently the way you fix that is just say, I take back my wish. That was it. That's all she had to do. And she struggled with that for like an hour.
I know. And I didn't like how it was pretty much the same thing. He sacrifices himself in the first movie.
Yep.
And he almost sacrifices himself, if you want to call him himself, again. There was a lot of this stuff that could have been better and explained. Like even her golden armor.
Oh.
It was explained in one I hate it when they explain big story elements in one sentence.
Right.
Like we gave all of her armor, you know, so she could sacrifice herself. Okay, is that good? Is that bad? Is this gonna help you? Like, what is?
I mean, they greenlit a third one, right? So hopefully they delve into that a little bit more. But also, she was like, we gave her like the greatest, most powerful armor.
Oh my God, are you gonna say it?
The cat character destroys it immediately. Immediately.
Yes.
It took no effort. She like first like scratch ripped off a piece of it. Second scratch ripped off another piece. Like she shredded that thing in seconds. And I was like, isn't this supposed to be powerful? Like why did she even get this?
Oh my God, I'm glad you said it.
Wait, can someone explain the cat? Does anyone understand why she's a cat?
Well, it's because that character is a cat in the, well, at least she's like, her name is Cheetah, right?
Yeah.
In the comics. And I don't know. It's because Pedro Pascal's character said that she was going to be an apex predator, and that means cat now.
That was the weirdest thing. We were all like, what? Wait a minute. She's a cat? Like, wait, what is happening?
Because her first wish was to, be strong and beautiful like Diana Prince.
Well, yeah, we knew that, but like...
she has the strength, she has the beauty. But then it's, again, like one line where Pedro Pascal's character is like, I'm going to make her the greatest apex predator. And then she just becomes a cat after that. That's it.
Dude, it was the weirdest thing.
That didn't seem to help.
So weird.
That's the problem. The problem was they spent all this time doing other stuff, and then when they got to the stuff we needed explanations on, they're like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
She already had the powers of Wonder Woman, and then Pedro Pascal decides, you know what? No, she's gonna be the greatest apex predator, which is, I'm assuming, still the powers of Wonder Woman, but now looking like a cat. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, it was so weird.
So many issues.
I know they like alluded to it like earlier. She said something like, "I like these cheetah shoes," or like something
Yes.
stupid, and it was like that's
Yes,
that's
exactly.
the pretense. Like
Yes.
we should have figured it out from that.
There was a cat in the Smithsonian. She like walked past a cat, and the camera holds on it for an extra couple seconds. I'm like, oh, I get it.
Nah, wasn't enough.
Heyo, you schmoes! What's going on, gang?
Ugh, how did I know Wiggles was gonna show up for this one? What do you got, Wiggles? Speak your mind.
Wonder Woman 1984. Woo-wee, woo-wee. I loved it. The story made complete sense, and I thought the villains were awesome. Cheetah definitely looked like an apex predator. I wouldn't want to mess with her. What a great superhero movie sequel this was. Wonder Woman is my favorite DC character, And if I'm being honest, she is holding the DC universe together. Bring it on, the third Wonder Woman. I can't wait.
All right, well, we had a lot of negatives. Before we get into our ratings, was there anything positive you liked about this?
Gal and Chris.
The actors. I mean, even you know what? I really like Kristen Wiig, but I didn't think she did a good job in this role. Like, I felt like she was herself, but I don't know. I like her as Saturday Night Live Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, I liked her better early on in the movie when she was able to be like a little quirky and funny instead of later when she was a cat.
Yeah.
Like a mean cat.
What?
That was another thing. Like she lost her kindness. Like that wasn't even that big of a sacrifice, really. Like she got like the powers of Wonder Woman and had to sacrifice being nice to bums.
She had the best deal. Now I know why she didn't want to recant her wish.
I know.
Yeah.
The problem is it even had a lot of potential. Like the car chase in Cairo was pretty good. My favorite part was when she's fighting in the White House. She pops the bullet out and then hits it with her bracelet.
Yep.
You know, like that's cool stuff, but it was like not enough of that, I guess, for me.
But I also had a comment about the choices in the car chase in Cairo. When she saves those children, she saves them by hitting them at the speed of a missile, grabbing them, and then landing on them. Like, when she rolls, she lands directly on the children, and they're fine. But like they'd be splattered. They were absolutely like. First off, their necks were shattered when she like hit them at the speed of a missile, because she lassos onto a missile and then just launches herself at them. Like there's no way to cushion that blow.
I was like, wait, did she think what she just did felt better than what would have happened otherwise?
Exactly. Like let the car hit them. It's the same thing.
I thought the same thing. Like, couldn't they have at least made it look like it was comfier or like more
she
gentle?
landed on them. Like when she like the hit alone, I was like, oh my god, that would have like taken their heads off. And then she grabs them, but like loses, like she has to fall and just falls onto them. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Oh man, so many problems.
It had potential, but tons of weird choices, and I think the ratings reflect that. IMDb gave this 5.8 out of 10. The critics on Rotten Tomatoes, 65%, and the audience gave it a 73%. We had some problems, but what is your banana rating out of 10? Would you recommend this? Let's start with Quackrin.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5 bananas. Not the worst movie I've ever seen, but so many problems. So many.
Ryan the Lion?
I'm actually in the same boat as Quackrin. 4.5 bananas from me as well. You know, love Gal Gadot. I like Pedro Pascal. I thought he actually did a nice job in the movie, even though his character was insane. It's definitely got some cool stuff, but overall, it's just not great.
Sadly, I'm on the same page. It was okay, but I wanted so much more from a superhero sequel movie to a movie that I really liked, and a character that I like, and an actress that I like. Like, there's so many things I like, and then when it all showed up on screen, I didn't like it. So I'm at a 5.5, a little bit higher. There were some cool moments, and I guess that's what pushed it up a little bit, but the cool moments did not help me with the story.
Yeah.
Now, tell us what you thought. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and come back anytime and join the conversation. You're always welcome here at the Entertainment Jungle.
Quack you next time.
In the words of Walter, we've had some issues.
Yes.